Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Fantastic Friday. We thank God how He has sent us winter weather, and it is nothing like winter weather doing winter. What else would you expect? It gives all of us the opportunity and the reason for us to have common sense and to exercise great judgment. Please make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of everyone else, do what makes sense, and we know God will bless you. It is Fantastic Friday. We're right towards the weekend. We thank God for how He has kept us throughout this week. Today, I want to ask that you please look with me into the book of Nehemiah, the 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 10. A very powerful text. This is that passage about Nehemiah, and he was the cupbearer for the king Artaxerxes. It is so powerful. You know, basically, every time I read this text, I can't help but think about a song that said, you didn't have to say a word because it's written all over your face. And I just want to remind you, it was written all over Nehemiah's face. Nehemiah is the cupbearer for the king. As he's standing before the king, doing his daily job of doing the taste test for the king, doing the food test, to make sure that whatever the king ate would not kill him, would not be poisoned. Nehemiah had a very specific job. The king was looking at Nehemiah and he says, I know you're not sick, but I see the countenance on your face. Tell me what's going on. Nehemiah uses this as an opportunity, and God sets him up. He says, well, king, may the king live forever. I'm doing all the work for you that needs to be done. May you forever live. May your reign be one that's supreme and superior. But king, I want you to know I'm looking the way I'm looking because I'm sad for my people. Now, Nehemiah, even though he is in the presence of the king, he is living high. He is living well, but he has heard about his people. My brothers and sisters, this becomes a word for all of us. Even though some of us may have been individually blessed, may have individually become elevated to certain heights, but still Nehemiah was connected with his people. That brings about a point to all of us. We must stay connected with the people. Nehemiah was connected with the people. He understood the poverty they were experiencing. He understood the hunger. He understood they didn't have transportation. He understood in his day the things that were going on. You and I must identify those who have been victims of COVID-19, even this Omicron variant, and all the devastation that has happened in the supply chain, those who are not able to go to work. Our kids who are now being the most greatest populations of those who are hospitalized. We must feel the pain of the people. Nehemiah feels the pain of the people because he realizes is back home, his people are now living in ruin, in devastation. Nehemiah seizes the moment of being in the presence of the king, and he says, King, I need for you to know what's going on. My people need help from on high. The king says, well, what can I do to help? Nehemiah seizes the moment. He says, oh, king, I'm so happy you asked me. Let me go and take care of my people. But in order to get to where my people are, I need letters of endorsement. I need to be able to get timber. I need for it to go down the Euphrates. I need for you to make passageways so that I can rebuild the wall of the city where the people of God can be, where my people can live, where they can thrive. Because right now, things are not going well for them. Wouldn't it be amazing if you and I looked at all of our elected officials, all of those senators, and tell them things are not going well for our people? Yes, you're in an elevated position, but you need to remember who voted you in. That's the reason why so much is happening with the vote. That's the reason why persons do not want everybody to be able to vote, but only an elite few so they can continue to control things as they have been. We're off the heels of the Martin Luther King birthday. And we must realize things are almost as bad now as they have been back then. You and I have to do something proactive. We have to do something positive. We have to make sure whatever influence we have, we can influence and effectuate change in the life of God's people and the life of all of those who are the inhabitants of the world. Nehemiah realizes that God has given him an awesome duty. Nehemiah realizes that God's Spirit is going to lead and guide him. The text lets us see, he says, I want to rebuild the city. And he tells the king, I don't know how long I'll be gone, but I'll be gone until it gets done. And king, I want you to provide protection for me. The king realizes that this is not going to make him lose anything. He will just only have a greater stock because everybody can say, during the reign of Artaxerxes the king, he had a servant by the name of Nehemiah that he put trust in, because Nehemiah put his trust in God. I think all of us can see this passage as a win-win for everybody. Everybody who found themselves being victimized, they are now being taken care of. We need to take care of those who are the less fortunate. Take care of those who are living in cities that are ruined. Take care of those who've been pushed out of their neighborhoods. Take care of those that because of the taxation of property, they have to sell because they can't even afford to pay taxes because all of the other expansion is edging them out. Nehemiah says, I want to rebuild my community, but I want to rebuild my community in a smart fashion. I want to make sure it is inclusive, not exclusive. I want to make sure that my community has the very vast spectrum of all of those that are under the canopy of God's grace and love. Today, God spoke to Nehemiah. Maybe God is speaking to you. Maybe God is speaking to me. He's telling us, let's rebuild. Let's cause people to have faith and hope in God, as well as those who will be our contemporary leaders. Nehemiah didn't take any credit. He knew that it was only because God had placed it on his heart, because Nehemiah had a love for his community and a love for his people. I think our world would be a better place if those who are elected officials had a love for their community and their love for their people, as opposed to the love for their personal position of prominence and all that it will get them. Today, let's be a voice like King, a voice like so many others who said wrong is wrong and right is right. My parents used to say, right ain't never wrong nobody. So let's do the right thing. It's written all over your face, and you don't have to say a word. When you and I care, you can tell it from our countenance. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And remember, in this year of 2022, God has a blessing that's in store for you. And I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.